Welcome back to the Care for Your Heart Challenge. I'm Dr. Andrea Christian Parks, and this is day number 4. We are talking about ways to care for our heart because how much importance I want to emphasize in this beautiful month of February on heart health. Now, here's the thing. I think today is going to be a challenge for some of us and an absolute nothing for some of us. Now, it's okay if you don't like what I'm about to say or what I say when I say it, but I'm going to say it because I don't think enough of us understand the importance of this one today. I am going to say today is a challenge for some people. And I'll tell you why. It's not you. It's not your family. It's not your history. It's actually the world we live in. So today what we're going to talk about is, could we consider no alcohol? And some of you are like, I don't drink anyway. I don't care. Cool. That's great. So for you, this class is not a challenge. But for everybody else who has been told, especially some of us who are perimenopausal, menopausal, who have all this stress and anxiety, and we go to the doctor and they go, just have a glass of wine, relax in the evenings, just, no. And let me tell you why. A couple of big reasons. Number one, alcohol disrupts sleep. Most of us are not sleeping well anyway at this point. So, because we're not sleeping well and alcohol disrupts sleep, why would we do that to ourselves? It's not helpful. Let me give you the scripture for today. 1 Corinthians 6:12. It says, everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial. So, is it a sin to have a glass of wine? Mm-mm. Can you go out, on date night or whatever and have a cocktail? Of course you can. That's not what this is about. Even in the Bible, there's discussions about wine, and I'm going to just say this. Wine back in the day was not the 12% ABV, whatever, that we drink now. It just wasn't. I mean, it was much more mild and low alcohol, and it wasn't the same product. Okay. Also didn't have the chemicals and stuff, that sulfites and everything that we put in for preservatives and yada, yada. That's not the point. The point is that alcohol by itself is an independent risk factor for cancer. Multiple cancers, including the big one that everybody's afraid of, which is breast cancer. It's funny because there's so much discussion about, well, this is old discussion about, do hormones cause breast cancer, worsen breast cancer, promote breast cancer, all this stuff about hormones. And the truth is, the data does not actually bear that out. Hear that. The data does not bear out that female estrogen hormones promote breast cancer. It does not. But you know what does? Alcohol. We're not talking about that enough. That's a problem to me. So, if alcohol is messing up sleep, we're not sleeping well enough anyway. It is an independent risk factor for multiple types of cancer, including breast cancer. Why are we drinking? Well, because we're stressed, we are overwhelmed, we are doing our best to function throughout the day, and then in the evening we feel like we should have a chance to rest and relax. So, alternatives to alcohol. Because here's what happens is, yes, having a drink with alcohol in it does have a physiological effect on the body. And for many of us, we can interpret that as that mild intoxication as relaxation. I get that. But I'm going to offer to you another thought, that the ritual of having a pretty glass and a cocktail or a glass of wine, whatever it is that you like, whether white, pink, red, whatever, there's a ritual to that. And there is a signal to your brain that says, it's okay for me to relax now. There is an excuse that the alcohol gives for you to be able to stop running, stop racing around, stop doing so much. And I want to tell you, you don't have to have alcohol to do that. So let me give you some alternatives. I'll tell you, I used to, when I go on these trips for work, and I'm doing medicine at other places. I'm a traveling physician sometimes, and I go other places. I have been known, because the hospital pays for the flights and the transportation, to upgrade myself. I will pay for the upgrade. If it's not a really big expense, I'll just pay for it, and I'll sit in first class. So of course in first class they offer you what? Alcohol. Doesn't matter if it's 9 a.m. Doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter. Whatever you like to drink, they will offer it to you. So I have been known to go upgrade myself to first class, and then I realized there's a couple of problems with drinking, and it doesn't matter what time of day it was, is that I'm on a plane around a lot of people in an enclosed space at this time, for the most part during cold and flu season. I'm already dried out because I'm running through airports and I'm in climate control. And now I'm in a very dry environment on the airplane, and there's pressure changes. So a lot of the fluid in my vessels is leaking out into my tissues. That's why you get like puffy feet sometimes, or ankles, if you're spending a lot of time on airplanes. And even if you don't see the edema, a lot of times you'll notice it, because then you get back from a trip and you spend the next few days peeing all night, and you're like, what the heck is going on? That's what it is. All that fluid has leaked out of your vessels down into your tissues, and your body's reabsorbing it and getting rid of it. And then on top of that, you add alcohol, which then further dehydrates you and dries out your brain, which your brain very much needs fluid to be working well. So on many, many, many fronts, the alcohol wasn't working during my traveling. So I went, what is it that I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to celebrate that I finished a trip, that I did 3 days on call, back to back to back, or whatever it is. So I was like, I like having a pretty glass. And of course, in first class, they bring you a glass, not a paper cup, which I very much like. So I said, what can I do? So I started ordering Seltzer, like sparkly water, with a splash of cranberry to make it pink, because it's pretty. It works for me. You might not like that. I didn't want ginger ale or whatever. I mean, I don't like sugary drinks. I didn't want that. But you can do whatever you want. Another thing, there's lots of companies out there now who are doing alcohol alternative type. Oh, there's one I got. Let me get it for you out of the fridge. There's this company that I just found. I've tried a couple of them. I don't like all of them, but this one, I actually like the couple of the flavors I've tried. It's called Madassi. And this company, this one is a Jamaican rum punch. It is for the entire can, which usually what I do is I actually split it with a king cube in a stemless wine glass, give one to my husband, one to me. We sit down. It's basically like having a cocktail, but it's like 40 calories. It's nothing. If you're not calorie conscious, don't worry about it. But all I'm saying is it's not a ton of sugar. It's not anyway, and it tastes decent. It tastes decent. You're not going to get the alcohol taste, but it does taste pretty good. And they're not overly sweet. So there are other brands out there, other options. You could do sparkly water. You can put a garnish and all. You can make it all pretty. But the point is, take the moment. If you need a break, take the moment. Consider maybe not alcohol. Maybe what you need is a break and not just a drink. Can you do that today? And then see how you feel. How do you sleep? How are your hot flashes? I remember I used to tell patients in the office, I said, you're going to hate me for this. When they come in talking about hot flashes, I said, you're going to hate me for this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. There's 3 big things that are making your hot flashes worse that you can stop doing, and you're not going to like it. And they would go, and I would say it's sugar, spicy food, and alcohol. And very few people liked that I said, because even if you don't drink, some people like sugar, or I love spicy foods. But when they thought about it, they were like, this do make my hot flashes worse. Yeah, they do. So then you got to decide. Can you decide whether or not alcohol can be optional for you? It'll be better for your cancer risk, help you sleep better if you don't drink. Even if you go to sleep easier, you don't stay asleep better, and your quality of sleep is no better. It's actually a lot worse. Any of you who wear a biometric tracker know it. If you drink, your numbers are worse the next day. So what can you do? Can you make today the day that we don't have a drink at the end of the day? Maybe we do sparkly water. Maybe we do a mocktail. Maybe you make your own mocktail. Drop in the comments. What did you decide? What did you try? I want to hear. See you for class 5.